Hi guys, and welcome to today's class. Today we're going to be going over how to do a quote analysis. This is going to be a nice review. We're still very much in the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde unit, so we're going to be taking a look at a quote from Dr. Jekyll. Now, up to this point, I have reviewed chapter 1. And this quote will be taken directly from chapter 1, but keep in mind that this can be done for any chapter. And this is one way to do a quote analysis. I'm not saying that this is the only way, but if you haven't done them before, this is a nice little review and will help you to really make sure that you have a solid quote analysis, especially for tests or anything like that. Okay, so let's get started. First things first, in a quote analysis, you will always be given the quote unless otherwise stated. If I were to say, choose a quote, okay, that would be when you could pick one. Otherwise, I will give you one. You must do the quote that I provide for you, or that any teacher provides for you. So take a look at the quote first. And the first thing to do is kind of situate yourself in the text. What chapter are we in? What have we read through? Because you're going to be getting a quote from the chapter that we looked at. So first and foremost, let's take a look at this guy. It says, "I let my brother go to the devil in his own way." Now we know we're in chapter 1. So nice, good start. Who said it? This right here, we're talking about our narrator, and our narrator for Dr. Jekyll is... I'm hoping you said Mr. Utterson. So number 1, and I can number them actually if I want to. Number 1 would be Mr. Utterson. Number 2, what is the context of when this was said? What was going on at the time? I know sometimes students will get a little tripped up over the word context, to which I always follow up with, were they at the grocery store buying pizza? Were they, going down to the local ice cream parlor for a scoop? What was going on at this time, right? So this one, right now, this is the very beginning of the novel. When we're thinking about this quote, the context, or what was happening. What was happening? We're learning about Mr. Utterson and who he is. We found out that he is a lawyer. And we know in this he's saying, I let my brother go to the devil in his own way. When he's referring to brother here, let me get yellow. He doesn't actually mean somebody that he is family with. He means his fellow citizen. Keeping in mind Victorian England most likely would be representing males, and so in this way he's talking about a brother in almost more of like a religious sense sort of idea, right? Like we're all brothers and sisters of Canada, of America, of Christianity, and so forth. So he's just saying, like, he lets his fellow citizen or his fellow country mate, he's not going to judge that person, go to the devil. Okay, when we're thinking about how you get to the devil, especially in a Christian context, we're thinking about this idea: to get to the devil, you must sin. Again, understanding that this novel or this novella was written in a Christian background, so we have to understand a little bit about the religion of the people who would have been reading this and the religion of the person who was writing it, because he would have assumed that everyone around him would have followed the same religion. So we're in this kind of Christian ideology, or this Christian way of thinking, and so in all of the Christian religions that I am aware of, the way to get to the devil is to sin, is to do something that is bad, right? To do bad things, to steal, to cheat, to lie, to disobey your parents is a sin. To commit adultery, to commit murder. These are all ways that you can go to the devil. You'll end up in hell, basically, is what he's saying. And he's saying, I let my brother go to the devil in his own way, right? I will let my fellow citizens sin in his or her own way. I will let them choose how to sin. So right here, again, coming back to number 2, what is the context? What's happening? Mr. Utterson is a lawyer, and he is not stopping people from how they want to act. Right? He's not going to go forth and say, I am the moral police, you should not be doing this. He goes, you know what? If you want to do this thing, if you are really intent on taking that candy bar from the shop, who am I to stop you? Right? All that's going to happen is if you steal that guy, you're going to go into the fiery flames of hell. Those are my flames. Well, we're going to go into the fiery flames of hell, and that's where you'll live for eternity. So I'm not going to stop you. If that's what you really want, go for it. Right? That's basically what he's saying right there. I let my brother go to the devil in his own way. He's not going to provide any moral judgment. Now, this is going to be becoming more important as we go on in the novel. So, kind of already getting a little bit into question number 3. Why is this quote important? What does it tell us about the overall story? It could be about a story. It could be about a character. So, for number 3, I could simply say something such as, it shows that Utterson is trustworthy. It shows that Utterson is free of bias. He's not going to judge the person and how they chose to go to hell. I mean, if a candy bar is what they really want, let's make it a Willy Wonka candy bar here. If a candy bar is really what this person wants and that's what they want to trade their soul for, he has no judgment. He'll let you do it. He's not going to stop you, right? So I'll let my brother go to the devil in his own way. And then from there, right, we show a little bit about Utterson. And this is important, really. Let's hang on. I just want one more thing about number 3. This is important that Utterson is like this because we know that he is a character who is, or who may not, can never fully trust him, may not really lie to us to cover something up. Now, at the time of this video is being made for my grade 9 students. Those of you guys in grade 9, you may not have seen too many stories where we have what's called an unreliable narrator. Just means we can't trust the person who's telling the story. If you are in a higher grade, or if your teacher is teaching something different and you're listening into this video, just know that there are such things as unreliable narrators. You may have come across them, but this quote right here is telling us that this guy is trustworthy. So we have a bit more of a trustworthy character because he doesn't put stock into why somebody is sinning or the fact that they are sinning. It doesn't really matter to him. Okay, and then number 4. Which theme does it connect with? Which theme? Okay, so I'm going to create a little bit of a video based on these 4 themes as we continue on with these lessons. If that's helpful, let me know. You can put it always in the comments section below and I'll come back to you. Or if you put it into Microsoft Teams, either one, I'll keep track of these 2 accounts because when I'm uploading them, I will see comments. So let me know if you want anything specific or if you have questions. I can always answer them and make videos for all of you guys. If you have a question, somebody else has a question, and then you're all sitting out there not knowing that maybe I didn't explain something clearly. So make sure that you ask for videos that you need during this time. So then we're going to take a look at this idea of what theme does it connect with. So we haven't gone too much into theme, but we've kind of really, when I'm talking about theme, I'm talking about the topic more so, and I'll kind of get into what a theme is, but, yes, coronavirus everywhere. So I will get into what a theme is, but just know that I am using this language of a theme, understanding that I will delve into this a little bit more, but technically these are all called topics. Okay, topic or subject is fine. So the topic or subject connected to the theme, we have 4 of them that we're looking at in Dr. Jekyll, right? So we have good and evil. What does it mean to be good? What does it mean to be evil? We have friendship. We have deceit. And we have repression. Okay. So think about good and evil. Don't just think about the idea of good and the idea of evil as separate. This one, we're really looking at this battle between what is good and what is evil. And what does it mean to be a good person, or what does it mean to be an evil person? Where is that fine line of when, you've become too many evil acts that you are now evil, or is it simply you're a good person who did one bad thing? More along those lines. Then we looked at this idea of friendship, right? How far will you go to help a friend? We have the idea of deceit, to lie to others, right? And then repression, to lie to yourself. So these are the ones I get most questions about. To lie to others. If you are deceitful, for example, you might go online and try to sell your old iPad, and you tell that person who's buying it that, yeah, of course it works. There's no problem with it. And they get home and they find out the battery only lasts for 5 minutes. You were deceitful. You were lying to them in order to gain for it. Typically what happens with deceit, right? You stand to gain from your lie. Whereas repression means more to lie to yourself. So say, for example, when you were a really little kid, you went out during Halloween and, the neighborhood bully stole all of your candies, and you say to yourself, well, you know what, I don't need candy anyways. I wasn't even really looking forward to it. But you really were. So you're repressing that kind of want of the candy. So it's a cute example. I'm going to go with it. Right? You are lying to yourself, typically about something you feel or think. So, what I'm asking you to connect to a subject, and we're looking at this one right here, right? I let my brother go to the devil in his own way. Nice and easy. I connected right here to this idea of good and evil. You could connect it to one or to more than one. But for a quote analysis, keep it to the one that you feel the strongest about. Some people might connect it to a different idea, right? Maybe to the idea of deceit, or maybe to the idea of repression. It's okay if somebody next to you is connecting it to a different subject or topic that you yourself are not connecting it to. That's part of English class. That's part of the nature of literature studies. It's natural. It's totally fine. Choose the one that you are most confident in explaining. So when we're looking at number 4, I'm going to ask you to connect to a topic. So I might say good and evil, right? So we have this idea of it is good to not judge others, or many people, others' actions. We could even say that who are we to judge, or who are we, or who is Mr. Edison to judge others' actions, to decide if they're good. Right? And then here I could even try to make a connection to another thing that I've watched or something that I've read that maybe has a similar idea of good and evil is an option that you can add on. So I could say, this is similar to when, what's a good story when somebody who was good did something bad? Superheroes. Okay. When Spider-Man disobeyed Tony Stark in Spider-Man Homecoming. I think it was Homecoming. And went out with the Spidey suit. He saved, or no, he endangered. He endangered unknowingly and saved a boat full of people. Okay? If you've watched Spider-Man Homecoming, what happens is this guy, he is Spider-Man, him and Tony Stark or Iron Man get together. Tony Stark gives him a spider suit and says, you can only go out during specific times. Spider-Man disobeys that. He went out and he didn't realize that people were following him, and eventually these people attacked the boat that he was on, but Spider-Man saved the boat full of people. There's a lot of gray area in this, right? Because we have, in terms of things that he shouldn't have been doing, which was going out, stealing the spider suit, basically, and putting people in danger. Okay, on positives, we have him learning how to fight. There's supposed to be an N there. Learning to fight, which will help him later on. Helping those around him. Right? So, like it's just, is it that he did one more bad thing than good thing, so does that make him a bad person? Maybe? Who are we to judge? Who can be the judge of this? Is it us? In Stevenson's time, would it be God who ultimately judges Spider-Man at the end? Okay. So I could connect it to something else. Anyways, this is going to be kind of your above and on extension. This is going to be sort of in your level 4 if you can connect it to other ideas. But by no means is it necessary. Okay. If you can connect it to this idea of good and evil and you could kind of explain this, that's great. Now, I know that's a lot. Let's flip back over here. I have an example one that I've previously written out that is a good solid answer. So let's take a quick peek at this. Okay. So question number 1. Who said this? So Mr. Utterson said this quote in chapter 1. Right? So in question 2, what is the context? Mr. Utterson is talking about being a lawyer. That's all he did. One sentence. That's all he was doing. He wasn't at the grocery store buying cheese. He was talking about being a lawyer. Question 3 asks us, why is this important to our story? This quote is important because it shows us that Mr. Utterson's personality, Mr. Utterson doesn't care about others' actions. He doesn't judge people. Okay? And then let's choose a good color. What's a good color? Let's do green. Green is good. I like green. Question 4. What theme does it connect to? This connects to the theme of good and evil. I noticed an error in my own sentence. This connects to the theme of good and evil because he lets people make the choice to be good or evil himself or themselves. Okay, so he lets those people make that choice, that decision. That should be connects. So, not a lot of sentences in terms of this answer, right? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You will notice it is written in one paragraph response. So this, in a nutshell, is how we do a quote analysis. I hope that answered anyone's questions. If you have any other questions, let me know, either down below or in Teams or by email. I'm monitoring all of them. I may not answer right away. It is a really busy time, but I will eventually get to it, so do send me those questions that you have. Or any other videos that you would like to see about Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Or if there are any questions that you have about anything that we've covered so far in class, right? We've done the idea of characterization. We've done, right, and that idea of steel. We've done Grimm's fairy tales. We've done how to take notes. We've looked at what does it mean to annotate while you read. We've done a whole bunch of stuff. Those are just some of the things, so let me know if there's anything you'd like a quick review on. All right.